Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is January 4th, 2022, and these are the top stories of the day. To kick things off, I will say Happy New Year's officially. I last saw you all just before 2021 ended, and we are now a few days into 2022, so let's have a fun year up ahead. 2022 looks to be packed when it comes to games and other content like movies and stuff. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And with that said, let's hop into today's stories. First up, Pokemon Legends Arceus is really quickly approaching. January 28th is 24 days away, and the game's pre-orders are really charting high. I chose this as the background image. We don't have exact pre-order numbers yet, but on the Japanese charts, in the United States charts, both digitally and physically, the game is trending high. It's going to be very interesting to see just where this game ends up. I certainly think it's going to do well beyond a Pokemon Snap or a new Pokemon Snap or a Pokken tournament, but will it hit the levels of, you know, a mainline Pokemon game like a blue, red, green, or a gold, silver, or maybe not going that high on that end, but even something that's still quite considerable, like a Sun Moon and XY, or the most recent, which is actually now one of the highest selling Pokemon games of all time, being Sword and Shield. That's quite ambitious. I think it's going to do within the realm of remake territory, you know? If you look at Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, which if you want to call them kind of soft remakes of Pokemon Yellow, kind of, that's a 14 million seller game. That's a pair of games. It's 2 in 1. People have 2 SKUs. Some folks do that. They take that approach where they buy, every version per generation. Most don't, but you're not going to have people buying 2 Legends of Arceus, so there goes that right away. That multiplayer online aspect of battling and trading and stuff like that is going to be different this time around, I should say, with Pokemon Legends Arceus. How good of a quality this game presents, how big of a story does it have, what are the worlds like, what's that gameplay loop like, how many Pokemon are there to collect, things like performance and graphics and stuff. I almost want to say those things matter more now. Animations and whatnot, they matter more now because you're not getting the tried and true. You might be one of those people that doesn't care about all of them being in there, but you want that new type of Pokemon experience in terms of Pokemon to collect and to fight and stuff. And this game is going to have some new because it is a new old school region, which is nice, but enough of it's different that the new stuff has to be of a good quality because you can't just rely on the old battle mechanics and the old trading philosophies, the dual versions and all of that. So hopefully Pokemon Company spent a good amount of time on it. It looks to be of a quality effort. It's not completely open world in concept like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was, but it is the most open world in design to date for a Pokemon title. Getting to fly with them, ride with them on land and on water. It's pretty cool. Trailers are coming out left and right, new gameplay loops. So I'm hopeful. If I had to play it somewhat safe, I would say 16 million lifetime to date by the time it's all been said and done. Sales for this would be quite successful. That's not getting into crazy 24 million territory. It's not touching necessarily Sword and Shield, but it's doing better than some remakes. 16 is not bad. I think if it hits 18, that's great, like beyond great, that's excellent. I think if it hits 20, I would be kind of surprised, but that would bode really well that if the word of mouth in the quality of what this game presents is that high that it continues selling well, because I expect this to be a very front loaded. It's going to sell a lot up front, but then how will the legs last, right? If this is a 20 million seller, that's going to be great motivation for Game Freak, Creatures Inc., Pokemon Company, Nintendo to create more Pokemon Legends games and have a Mew or a Mewtwo or whatever you want to continue on with, and have this as one type of Pokemon experience traveling forward. You have your remakes of older titles, and you could have a chibi approach, you could have different visual approaches to them, and then you have your main entry games. And maybe you have a Let's Go series. Maybe you bring back a Pokken Tournament and you have theirs. Like, Pokemon is getting bigger and bigger, and depending on how well this does, we'll see how many more do they get. Who do they allow to come in? Will they have Nintendo develop one? Will they have Monolith Software come in? A lot of that's speculation talk, but for now, game's looking promising, and I'm going to say 16 million is my safe bet. I think if it does something like 7 or 9, that's going to be pretty disappointing, but it depends on the quality. I think if the quality is there, this doesn't hit 7 or 9. The 7 or 9 is only going to be if it comes out, the initial rush is high, and it's not what people wanted, it's poor, and then it tapers off very quickly. But 7 to 9 million is still a lot, right? But for how long this game has probably been in development, for how much money is probably going into trying something new, I think 7 to 9 million would be pretty disappointing for the Pokemon Company and Nintendo. So here's hoping that it's good quality. Anyways, some of that was news, just on updating you with the amount of time coming left, and some of it was hype talk / future speculation. But there you go. Speaking of news, getting into normal stuff here. Zelda Musso on Twitter announced the following today: the cumulative worldwide shipment of, they call it Apocalypse of Disaster, but that's the Google Translate for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, has exceeded 4 million units. This is as of December 31st. Over 4 million copies of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity has been sold. Worldwide, digital, physical included, and through January 10th, so over the next 6 days, there will be a little sale going on the Japanese eShop, so that's pretty cool. Here's a visual right there. Well, this takes you to the site itself. What I wanted to show you is this. There we go. That's that 4 million mark. Pretty cool. I'm happy for them. The site itself, yeah, we've looked over the site before, but this is the Japanese site in particular. If you haven't tried this game out, I definitely recommend it. I think the story's fun. It really gives you more depth to the characters in Breath of the Wild, the champions. Like, as soon as I beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I thought, gosh, I could go for this prequel animated Netflix kind of TV series that shows me the champions and this kind of stuff. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, we ended up getting a prequel via a game that was, of the Warriors franchise, and it was perfect. The game has some issues and some frame rate and stuff like that, but honestly, that is so far low on my list of what I care about in this game. My takeaway from this title is that it's fantastic. I love the story. I love the voice acting. I love the moves and the combination of things that you could do, from regular to special to alternate stuff, alternate weapons per character, the variety within. I like the 2-player, the combat. I like the cinema scenes, the variety of environments, how it wraps into this. It's a prequel to Breath of the Wild, but thanks to something happening, it's not necessarily the original story that the champions had leading into it, because there's some future elements that go into the past, thus changing things, which makes me curious about Breath of the Wild 2. It has reasonably priced DLC that came out in waves. Like, to me, this is a 9.5 out of 10 type game, because even though it has a couple of frame rate drops here and there, some resolution drops here and there, like, that does not take away from the experience for me. For me, this is a very fun, solid, well-built game. So if you like The Legend of Zelda, if you like Breath of the Wild, if you have not purchased this yet, please check it out. Definitely recommend it as one of my top games on Nintendo Switch. Moving on, this is pretty cool, and I'm going to see if Capcom wants to work with me. Capcom put out today, calling all US-based content creators. We're looking for talented people like you to join the Capcom Creators program with special incentives, perks, and more. So I'm definitely interested. I've had a long, really solid, really positive relationship with Capcom. Obviously, you know, they put me in the Street Fighter issue number 7 comic book back in the day. They made me into a character in Street Fighter for the video game as an actual NPC in the back. You know, invited me to plenty of events, had me on their website, called me #1 Street Fighter fan in the world, and that's just on the Capcom side. And like, you know, personally, like, I love Street Fighter, I love Capcom. I've had different pitches and different creative talks behind the scenes with the development team of different generations with Capcom. You know, obviously EGM and Nintendo Power called me the real life Ryu. So this is perfect for me to have that one more step of connection with Capcom. We'll see if they're interested in working with me, but I'm definitely interested in working with them. And if so, I will let you know. If not, I'll still let you know, but hopefully. So fingers crossed that Capcom wants to do something with me and have me on board as an official Capcom creator. All right, next up, Ghost of Tsushima. Speaking of sales today, has recently sold through its 8 millionth copy. That's since its original release on PlayStation 4. 8 million includes PS4 and PS5. So massive shout out to Ghost of Tsushima because that game was terrific. And I played it, own it originally on PS4, but also the PlayStation 5 version, the director's cut, and Iki Island. And this game blew me away from beginning to the end. The sense of scale, the size and the scope, the world, gorgeous graphics, the gameplay, combat, the fluidity. Iki seemed like, I don't want to say a rushed product, but it didn't seem as tight of an experience and physical animation of people walking and stuff, but small issues didn't really detract from the experience because what it gave was, you know, a new look, things being messed with your mind, new combat, new characters, new voice acting, like, so worth it. If you haven't picked up this title, like Age of Calamity, another one that I recommend, congrats on hitting 8 million. Next up today, we finally got some updates on PlayStation VR2. I'm going to scroll down for a little bit and read to you, not necessarily the beginning of the PR talk, but go into what do you expect out of this device. The visual fidelity. For a high fidelity visual experience, PSVR2 offers 4K HDR 110-degree field of view and foveated rendering. With an OLED display, players can expect a displayed resolution of 2000 by 2040 per eye and smooth frame rates of 90/120 Hz. That's pretty solid. HDR, nice. 110-degree field of view, good. Foveated rendering, an OLED display, and basically overall 4K, but 2K technically per eye, up to 120 Hertz. I think we're going to get some really solid looking titles, and with head tracking, which is next, it's going to be a fun time. Controller tracking, headset-based tracking. With inside-out tracking, PSVR2 tracks you and your controller through integrated cameras embedded in the VR headset. Your movements and the direction you look at are reflected in-game without the need for an external camera. That's solid. New sensory features. PSVR2 Sense technology combines eye tracking, headset feedback, 3D audio, and innovative PSVR2 Sense controller to create an incredibly deep feeling of immersion. Headset feedback is a new sensory feature that amplifies the sensations of in-game actions from the player. It's created by a single built-in motor with vibrations that add an intelligent tactile element, bringing players closer to the gameplay experience. For example, gamers can feel a character's elevated pulse during tense moments, the rush of objects passing close to the character's head, or the thrust of a vehicle as the character speeds forward. Additionally, PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech makes sounds in the player's surroundings come alive, adding to this new level of immersion. This sounds terrific. You know, I think per generation, it's safe to say, regardless of, you know, which video game company makes your favorite games, that Nintendo is the one to pioneer technology. They're the ones that typically bring the most amount of new per generation to gaming. D-pad, face buttons, shoulder buttons, analog stick, rumble technology, touchscreen, dual screen, 3D, motion controls, dual line of sight, gamepad, TV. Some work better than others. Dual console, hybrid, handheld, home and portable, right? And that's just true. You have the other people that usually follow suit, you know, Microsoft with Kinect. That was the thing that they could come up with to combat Wii's motion controls. PlayStation Move, that was their thing to come up with to combat Wii's motion controls. When it comes to VR, PlayStation's going all in on VR. And yeah, there are other people out there, other companies out there that are doing VR headsets, but what Sony's doing, they're the only ones really in the video game console, home console space. Nintendo has Nintendo Labo VR. Microsoft doesn't seem all that interested in doing VR for the Xbox Series X, even though I think they would do a good job because the Series X is a pretty beefy system, but that's okay. You've got Facebook with the Oculus, right? But PlayStation's doing things that some of the others don't do. It does have a single cord. Some may see that as a drawback, but you're going to get more power, higher fidelity out of it. We'll see just how easy that cord is to navigate, move around, how heavy it is or light, possibly. What exactly type of barrier are you looking at? But I think this is going to be a solid way to go. Pricing is going to be another thing, though. How much does it cost? We'll find that out soon enough. The last thing they have to talk about really is the eye tracking. With eye tracking, PS VR2 detects the motion of your eyes, so a simple look in a specific direction can create an additional input for the character. This allows players to interact more intuitively in new and lifelike ways, allowing for a heightened emotional response and enhanced expression that provide a new level of realism in gaming. This all sounds fun. Lens separation is adjustable, 110 degrees field of view, OLED, that's important, 2000 by 2040 per eye, 120 hertz, sensors, cameras, vibration on headset, communication with PS5. So that's officially USB Type-C. Once again, we'll see just how long is the cord, how thick is the cord coming out, how heavy is the headset and the cord. You know, will there be a viable option where the cord's long enough that you could string it up, hang it off the ceiling, have it connect and wear it like that? Or will it kind of constantly be behind your head or whatever? Buttons, standard, 6-axis motion control, finger touch detection, Bluetooth, built-in lithium-ion rechargeable battery, good to know, feedback. You know, if you like the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, this is probably going to be right up there. And it looks like they're taking that intuitive design of the DualSense controller and basically throwing it in your helmet, right? With vibration, with eye tracking, with sound. I'm excited. We also have something else, and this is something specifically designed for PlayStation VR2, and this is Horizon Call of the Mountain. This is a teaser trailer. This is not the next Horizon game for PS5. This is...
Hi everyone, I'm Jan van Beek. I'm one of the studio directors
something
at Guerrilla.
Specific for VR2.
Everyone at our studio is working to put the last finishing touches on Horizon Forbidden West as we get ready for launch. We're all very excited and can't wait to get the game into your hands on the 18th of February. It's only a few more weeks. Now, as you join Aloy on her journey into the Forbidden West, it's great to know that this is not the final frontier of the world of Horizon. In fact, it's only the beginning. Our teams have also been working on a brand new game set in the world of Horizon, which we are very proud to announce. And so today, we'd like to tell you that we're creating a unique new Horizon experience, one that has been built from the ground up for PlayStation's next-gen VR hardware. It's been designed to push gameplay, technology, and hardware innovation. And it truly shows what's possible with the hardware's best-in-class visual experience and brand new controllers, allowing you to interact and feel immersed in the world of Horizon in a whole new way. Now please enjoy this glimpse into our new adventure. Welcome to Horizon Call of the Mountain.
I haven't seen it yet myself, so I'm excited.
There.
What's that tonic doing?
It's heading towards Storm's grasp.
It's headed towards us.
Yeah, it was very short. I wonder if it's gonna be like an on-rails kind of experience, like I'm just gonna say new Pokemon Snap. It could be an on-rails kind of thing. Maybe not. Way too early to tell, but pretty exciting that it's even coming. Aloy's next quest comes out in February. That's next month. Like I said, 2022 is off to a great start, but yeah, probably count me there. I will have to see more, but I'm at least very interested. I want to try it out. Will I buy it initially? Probably not just yet until I learn a little more, but I'm definitely interested in it. I will probably pick up PlayStation VR2 at launch. This game in particular, well, maybe, probably if it's good, but I need to see a little more. But so far, I'm interested. All right, that's going to do today for Video Game News with Paul Gale Network. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. And once again, Happy New Year.